reward is available because it's past 1 minute. Let's claim. You are rewarded with 100 coins, and it gives us 100 coins. Welcome back, guys, to a new Roblox Studio tutorial. Today we're going to be doing a daily rewards tutorial. This is suggested by Tetris Blocks. So what it is basically it gives you a reward every 24 hours, for example. So you have a daily reward. So it basically encourages players to keep on playing the game every day, right? So what we're going to do is we first need a data store, right? So we can save the time that the player last joined. So we can actually see how much time has passed since the last time the player joined the game. We're going to use profile service since it's easier, and so we don't have to write all that boilerplate. So let's go on models, profile service. All right. Right here, I'm going to make a script inside here, and we're going to paste in here is the documentation. So we're going to go to the documentation right here. There's a sample code under basics usage. By the way, this is documentation for profile service. I'll link it down in the description. And basically it has all the boilerplate, so I can copy this. And I'm going to paste this here. So it has all the basic stuff. So what we're going to need to change is basically add another value here in the profile template. It's basically a template for all the stuff you want to save. Now, you don't obviously need all of this, so if you're not going to have like items, but it's good if you want to use it. So let's make another value called last login. This will save the last time the player logged in to the game, or saved, not saved, sorry. The last time the player joined in the game, right? This will contain an os.time data type. So it will be like epoch, basically. It's the same as epoch. It's equivalent to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to save it whenever someone joins. Or actually, we're going to save it whenever someone claimed a reward. So now we can have a timestamp from when the player last claimed a reward. And then we're going to compare when the player joins in the future. We're going to compare that time. And if it's more than 24 hours, then we can give the player the new reward. So we're going to make some variables for some time. So let's do a minute. It's going to be 60 since epoch is basically measured in seconds. Hour equals 360, or I can do minute times 60, and then day equals hour times 24. Now what we're going to do is going to go to this function. This is what handles all the stuff after you load the profile. So we don't really need, we can do give cache. We're not going to focus on that right now. We're going to see how the logic works first. So delete all this. So what we're going to do right now is, since we set the last login to 0 by default, this is just so we can determine whether or not the player has joined the game for the very first time. So we can't have any timestamp to actually compare it to. So what we're going to do is, first of all, let's make a timestamp for the current time. So let's do local time now, which is the time now, self-explanatory. And this is going to be always at time. Now this is same as epoch, so it basically returns the same the amount of time passed since January 1st, 1970 in seconds, right? So this is how we can actually see how much time has passed. Okay, so now we have the time now. Let's compare. So first of all, let's see if the player is joined for the first time. So if last login, if profile that data, the last login equals 0. Now I'm going to make a comment right here so you guys know if the player is new to the game, so the very first time the player joined. Okay, then I'm just going to make a print statement right here. Offered reward for the first time. Like that. Then make an else statement. Else if the last login. So we're going to actually make a comparison so we can check how long has it been since the player last joined. So we're going to do time now minus profile the data last login is greater if the distance between those two times is greater than well, we'd use day for 24 hours. Then we can then offer the reward for your regular daily reward. Daily reward, right? And then else, if it hasn't been that long, then obviously you wouldn't receive no reward. So do print no reward available. Now, just to display the logic of how this works. Now, obviously, we don't want to wait an entire day just to test this out. So we're going to do a minute, which is why we made that variable. Okay, and now this should be working just fine. Now, another thing is, once we do get the reward, we obviously need to update the last login value. So once we receive this, we'll do this, copy this. Then we're gonna set this to time now. So now it's updated. And same for this once. So each time we are offered the reward, we update the last login so it can be used for the next time the player joined, and you can use it to compare. All right. So let's actually try test this out. So this is the first time playing. Let's see. Okay, it says offer daily reward. I think it didn't say for the first time since I did join this game earlier before I recorded, so that's probably why it didn't actually show. But you can test this out. Let's say you actually set this to 0. So let's do equals 0. And then it should say offer reward for the first time. This should happen only for the first time, so only for new players. But obviously this is for testing. Now let's remove this. So this is basically just the logic, right? So we have the logic. Now, by the way, I did accidentally put this in replicated sort. It's supposed to be in server script service. So that was my bad. That's a stupid mistake I made. But yeah. Anyways, so this is just if you want to make it automatically reward the player, right? Well, if you want to make it so the player has to manually claim the reward. For example, if you have like a chest and the player has a prompt where they can claim the reward, you can do something like that. And personally, I would be willing to something similar to that, since it kind of increases the interaction of the player with the game. So I'm gonna go with that. So what you can do is add like a chest model. Let's do chest like this. Okay, and then we can add proximity prompt like that, and then we can add a script inside of this server script. All right. So before we do any of this, actually, let's go back to the original script. Now we're gonna make a value inside of the player, and this is gonna determine whether or not the player can or cannot claim a daily reward. So on the player add event, let's do a value. Local, we're gonna call this can claim. It's gonna be a bool value. Parent equals player. But before we do this, like that. Okay, this looks good. Then we'll make this false. Okay. So now we have this value. What we're gonna do instead is we're gonna actually change this value to true whenever we have a daily reward available. All right. So what we're gonna do, instead of doing profile.data, or actually no, we're gonna keep doing this, but instead of doing the print statement, we just change the value. So we'll do player that can claim that value equals true, like this, like that, and then that. Okay, this should be good. So now once the player interacts with this chest, we have to check whether or not the player can or cannot claim the reward. So we'll go on here. Local p equals script.parent. I'm going to do p dot trigger connect function player. So if player can claim the value equals true, then we do whatever we want here. So in this case, oops, like that. So in this case, we'll fire a remote function. So it can basically show a GUI. That's probably the best way we can do that. So we'll have like a screen GUI. Make a real quick GUI. Nothing too fancy. We'll put this at 0.5.5. Make this 3. Oops. 0.40 like this. 0.30 like that. Make this like that. Oops, didn't mean to drag it, but like that. And I'll add UI corner and UI gradient. And then rotate this a bit. All right, this looks nice. Add a text label. So it will just be the text like this. Okay. We'll change the size. We'll do 1, or then like 0.3, I guess. Then 0 here. Okay, it should be like this. That's good enough. We'll make this background transparent. And then we'll also make this scaled. So we'll just call this you are rewarded with 100 coins, like this. Or just a placeholder. And then you can do whatever you want with this. Verdoka 1. I like this one. Let's not make this bold. Then let's do a text button. Like that. Let's copy these. Put it under here. Let's make this green. Okay. Like that. That's not bad. Oops, with that border color. I meant to do background. That's not bad. Let's do text scaled again. Same font. Actually, let's not make this. Make another text label inside of this, just so the gradient doesn't affect it. So we'll do make this nothing. Then text label will do claim. Then make the size 1:1, like this. And let's make this position 0:0, and then we can make the text color. All right, this looks nice. So we're going to use this GUI. This looks good. We're going to then move this all the way down. So we're going to do position. Oops, sorry, here, frame. Let's move this down. So let's do 1.5. So it's down. Okay, and then now we can make a remote event. Actually, not a remote event, a remote function. Remote function. Okay, let's call this reward prompt. Okay, so now let's go back here. So let's make a variable for the remote function. So local rf equals game dot replicate storage dot reward prompt. So let's do local claimed, which is the return value for the remote function. Rf, then we're going to invoke client, then do pass a player. Then other than that, you don't really need any other thing to pass, unless you want to have like different rewards you can have. Like, let's say maybe one day you have 100 coins as a reward, or on the other day you have 200 coins. You can do that. You can pass like rewards as values, so whatever coins you want. But you don't really need that. We can have just like a set amount of coins you have for a reward, honestly. So we're gonna do if the claim is successful, then player that can claim the value was false. This is what's going to determine whether or not we claimed a daily reward. And so once we have that, we can then change the last login time for the player in the profile service. Okay. Oops, this is supposed to be equals like that. This is good. All right. So now let's make the local script for the GUI right here. Okay. We're gonna make a variable for the remote function again. Go game.replace sorted wait for child reward prompt. Let's make the variable for the GUI. So main equals script.parent. So then rf.on client invoke equals function. Then I'm going to pass a player. That's what we did. Now let's make a variable whether or not the player clicked. So local clicked equals false. And now let's tween the GUI. So let's do main tween size and position. So first is the size. So udem2.new. The size is 0.40, 0.30, if I'm not wrong. So it's the original size it should be at. Okay, like that. Then udem2.new, which is the position this time. So this position is 0.5, 0.5, 0.50, 0.50. All right. And enum that easing direction. Let's do out. And then easing style. That sign. And then time. Let's do 0.3 seconds. All right. So now let's do let's change the text label to whatever we want. So let's do main that text label that text equals, let's say, you are awarded with 100 coins. Okay. Now we can make a function for the click once the player presses the click text button right here. Well, I'm not showing it right now, but right here. Okay, so once the player clicks this button, we're going to then return from this function. So what you can do, we don't want to return automatically. We're going to actually wait. So let's make a connection, local connection equals, or we can do local connection, then connection equals main dot text button. You can name it whatever. Dot mouse button one click, connect function, and then we're gonna change the collect variable to true. And after this, we'll do a repeat wait one loop. Or not wait one, just a quick wait until clicked. Okay. And then until it's clicked, you can then return. So we're gonna tween this back to the bottom of the screen again. We'll do that. Then we're gonna make it small, like that. And then connection disconnect. So the player can't do it more than once. And then we're gonna return 2. And that's pretty much it. All right, nice. So now we finished all of this stuff, the GUI, the actual prompt for the reward. We can then work on the actual script for giving the player cash and updating the last login time. So to do that, we need to detect whenever the player's can claim value has turned false. So what we can do is make another connection right here at the bottom. We'll do local connection, then connection equals player that can claim that changed, connect function, and then v would be the value of the change bool value. So we're going to do connection disconnect. And then we'll set the last login time. So it's basically the same thing here. Let's just do os the time, since the time now when we declared it, it was there is going to be quite a delay because obviously the player is not going to claim the reward right after they joined, right? So there's going to be a delay. We're going to set this to O time, which is equivalent to this, but it's the time once the player claims the reward. All right. And the reason why we use connect is so it doesn't happen more than once. We don't want to be abused, right? Even though it's highly unlikely since it's on the server. But you know, you don't want it abused. You only want it to work once in case anything happens. So now we do need to change some of this. But logic is going to be a bit different. So we don't need this now, since we're already updating the time from this function right here. And I think this is right. Okay, can't click that on true, can't click that equals true. And that is pretty much it. All right. We can still put some print statements just to make sure where we are at. So let's do, we don't need one right here. Let's add another one right here. Reward is available. Let's do something like that. All right. Okay, let's make another one right here. Print 100 coins granted. Like that. All right, so this looks good. Now let's see if this works. Last thing we want is actually, oh yeah, let's also change this back here. So make this 0. It's not 0 0.1.5 here, so it's down here. And you can also change the size, the initial size, so 0 0.01, 0 0.01, so it starts small and at the bottom. And for the proximity prompt, you can also make this better. So let's also do, where is this? So action text, let's call this claim. And let's make the hold duration 0.5 seconds. And the object type, let's call this daily reward. Okay, let's test this out. Okay, reward is available. So now we can claim this from this tiny little chest right here. Claim shows us this GUI. You could probably make it better. Kind of click it. That's weird. A few changes, but we are awarded with 100 coins. Claim, and 100 coins are granted. So pretty much works. Now it doesn't actually make a leader stat, so we can also do that. So what we can do instead is, instead of doing, where is this? We didn't actually grant the coins at all, but we can add leader stats. So we'll just make a leader stats folder. So local leader stats, or local L equals that new folder, L dot name equal leader stats, L dot parent equals player. I'll do local coins equals instance dot new number value. Coins that not value, that name equals coins, because it's always gonna start at 0 anyways. Coins dot parent equals L, and I think that should be it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Then once this is claimed, we can just do like player dot leader stats dot coins dot value plus equals 100. This looks pretty much it. And then we can actually fix this UI because it looked weird. It looked pretty weird, or in this local script. What was it like before? Was it 0. Pretty sure it was 0.3, 0.4, my bad. And let's also make the text button and oh yeah, the size was offset, not scaled. So let's make this like 0.4, 0.2. Now let's actually just make sure it's just right. So let's make this 0.4 like that, and then let's bring this up here. Looks still a bit weird. I think it's because, well, what's wrong with this? This looks strange. That's weird. What's up with that? Maybe okay, you put this at the middle like this. Actually, you know what? Let's make the anchor point 0 0.5, 0 0.5, and then we'll do like this. This looks a bit better. Okay, it's not bad. I can still make this a bit less long size. Oh yeah, 0 0.3. There we go. This looks better. You can make this a bit more smaller. Okay, this is good. So now let's actually use this. Copy these values here, then put it into here. So let's do 25 or 0 0.25, then 0 0.3 right here. Like that. 0.05. Same thing here. Okay. This is all good. So now let's change this back to its initial point. Okay. Then move this down. Okay, let's save this, and this should be well done. Okay. So reward is available because it's past 1 minute. Let's claim. You are awarded with 100 coins, and it gives us 100 coins. And that's pretty much it. Pretty simple tutorial, honestly, especially with profile service. It makes everything so much easier with all the sample boilerplate. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, join our Discord server, and leave any suggestions you want below in the comment section. There is a new game jam on Roblox, so we'll be streaming soon. Just like a game jam marathon live stream. So if you're interested, join in the live stream. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.